What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. Sorry about the late start. I had a tooth work done yesterday, and I was pretty exhausted the entire day yesterday. Also, the reason why I didn't end up streaming. Also, I was up late last night, and all that stuff. Been a long couple days. Obviously, I've been streaming for a bit. That was just because I was doing some activities in the morning with the family, and me trying to stream and then go and do those wasn't really conducive. Plus, the day before activity exhausted me to the point of I needed some extra rest for the night or for the following day ones. So that's why I hadn't streamed the last couple days. Um, and yeah, my kids have been wearing on me a little bit, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's the whole reason why I haven't been streaming for a bit. So uh, we're gonna do continue my reaction video to what's it gonna call it? To the Chris Cuomo versus Dave Smith debate. Looks like there's gonna be another debate between Dave Smith and the Crucible. That'll be interesting. Might watch that. Might do that one as well. Um, I just want to give a shout out to people. The rumor, the rumbler, and Road Queen 1027. I appreciate the follow on my channel. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, so it's been a long couple days. I'm exhausted. Um, that's all I really got for you. So it's my reasoning. My reasoning. Sticking to it, damn it. Let's see. Yeah. So make sure you follow me on X at official W Ghost. That is the best way to find out when I go live, and you can also watch me live if you choose to. Follow me on Rumble. And it's gonna be rumble.com/withghost is the main channel. Regardless of where I am, I will be streaming on Rumble, unless Rumble ends, which I doubt. And then, of course, there is YouTube, youtube.com/@withghost, and then twitch.tv/official-with-ghost. And then my gaming channel is on Rumble is Gaming with Ghost, and official gaming with or at official gaming with Ghost is YouTube's. So there we are. So yeah, those are the various channels that you can check me out. Oh, we should be back to a regular day, normal schedule on Monday. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Oh Lord. Trying to think of anything else I need to say. That's all I got. So we're gonna finish my Dave Smith versus Chris Cuomo debate. If it looks that like it's not gonna take as long as long enough for me to make a show of it, I'll probably do a few reaction stuff, and then that's how we'll end our Friday stream. Yeah, so let's get to it. I know I've been kind of lazy the last couple of weeks, but hey, sue me. What can you do? Okay, let's get this up and going. There we go. We should be leaving off exactly
that over a month.
Oh, I get that.
Not one.
We're at 1.5 speed. Wunderbar. So I think we'll be we'll be starting off where I ended. So let's go.
One day.
Cronkite used to be the,
Oh, there's no. Good for him.
Okay.
The highest rated thing in media, and let's just put it all in one basket. You got the nightly news that was supposed to be dead 20 years ago, still gets 9 million people a night. So the idea that nobody cares about that, obviously they do. They're watching. What I'm saying is
versus
this.
40 million. Used to be a lot more than 9.
Yeah, but you measure that over a month.
Oh, I get that.
Not one day.
Cronkite used to be the,
Oh, there's no question. It's
Yeah.
stratifying. It's
Yeah.
changing. And it's good. I think
No,
it's
but I
good.
mean, I think that
I'm saying
I
that
think
there's
that
no trust in anything.
No, I don't think you're right. I mean, I think that I don't know that I have like polling data on
but I'd imagine if I could poll the valuetainment audience, there'd be tremendously high trust in Patrick Bet David. I'd imagine if you could poll my audience, they would be tremendously high trust in me. That's not true. And look, I understand kind of not wanting to deal with that because it's uncomfortable when you were one of the main guys in an industry as trust totally cratered in that industry. But you can look at this on a poll. Trust in media is
trust
at
has
an
been
all-time
low
low
in media since the Vietnam War. That was the turning point.
You can look at these Gallup polls.
It's gotten lower.
No,
and
pull up
lower.
the other one. Not even this one. There's another one. No, it's not. It's at 23, 27.
I think it's lower than that. I think
it's ever been.
It may be the lowest, but I think it's lower than that. But the point is, it's low in everything. It's low in everything. And there's a difference between a fan base and brand respect.
No, I don't think that's how life works. I think here's how life works. You got your mom and dad when your parents go through a divorce. At the time, one paints a picture of the other person that you buy into, and the other person doesn't say shit. For 15 years, you think this is a bad person. 15 years later, you realize this person was full of shit. This person's trust is lost. This person's trust is gained. Trust moves. Trust doesn't stay and just disappear 100% against everybody.
Find a graph that shows has increased trust, spiking trust.
By the way, let me show you this. I want to show you this. I asked you guys a question about the black vote, whites gone from 9 to 22, and I showed you the one clip. I want to show you the second clip. I want you to see this here. This is Bronx. It's not all black. You got Dominican, Puerto Rican, a lot of that. This is last week.
Got whites, got Asians.
I want you to watch this clip. I want you to watch this clip real quick, and then we can come back to last thing because we've got 20 minutes left. I do want to hit immigration because I want to show you guys one clip to get your feedback on. Rob, if you got the clip I texted you, just play the clip. I texted it to you a few minutes ago. I'll put a thumbs up on it. I want you to play. It's a tweet. Chicago won raid. Chicago won raise a tweet. Go ahead and play this clip. Watch this, folks.
If President Trump came here to the South Bronx, would you attend the rally?
Of course, I would want to meet Trump. I want to shake his hand.
He's the only president that I see that can ever make America great again. He's capable of doing that.
I would love to go to a rally with Donald Trump come, because I'm a big Donald Trump supporter, and I would support him 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely we're going to show him love. We're going to show him a lot of love, and, like they do in other states. We definitely need to see Trump here.
There's nothing but love for Donald Trump here, the South Bronx, the North Bronx, the East Bronx, and the West Bronx.
So tell me.
We want Trump to come back. Please, bro. Why don't you get out of here, bro? I would come to the rally and support Trump, because the Bronx need a change, and we need somebody that's really going to help this community.
I would definitely come to a Trump rally in the South Bronx. I like him.
You do?
Yes.
Yes, I will come to a rally if President Trump was to come to the Bronx, and I also would bring other people to come to and support him.
Would Joe Biden get a warm reception if he came to the Bronx?
No, he wouldn't have. Yeah, I'll make sure of that.
According to news, in the South Bronx, New York.
And by the way,
Character
obviously, we all know, according to Biden, none of these people were black. You know that, right? I just want to make sure you know this. It's a delusion.
It's a bunch of white people.
It's a bunch of white people. Like Bronx, of course it is. Anyways, okay, we can transition to this next story with the immigration. Here's some numbers that we've seen. You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. 2016. These are the amount of migrant encounters at the southwestern border over the years from 2016 to 2024. I'm not giving you any numbers. You don't know. Both of you guys know these numbers.
Now, in case you missed it, Biden I can't remember. I think it was Wednesday or something. He just now decided to start doing something about the border. He now agrees that the border is getting out of hand, etc., etc., etc. A couple of days ago, kind of proving the fact that hey, he didn't need that border bill to begin with. So he just proved he didn't need the border bill to do anything he said he needed the border bill to do. And it's kind of funny, fucking funny. Yeah, he didn't need the border bill to do what he said he needed the border bill to do, and it's just making me laugh, honestly. And I was pointing that out to people, and people were saying like, "Hey, well, it's always better if Congress, if the executive and Congress work together, blah blah fucking blah." I was like, "Sure, that might be better." But that doesn't defeat my overall statement saying that he didn't need the border bill to begin with to enact anything he wanted to do. So it's just a little just disingenuous, brah. That's all it is. A little disingenuous, brah. Oh man, it was just funny as hell to me. Like I need this to deal with the border. No, you didn't.
Know this number. 2016, 415,000. 2017, 526. 2018, 683,000. 2019, 1.1 million. 2020 comes down to.
And also, I want to point out, it's like it's a little convenient that he decided now he needed to do something about the border after 3 years of not doing shit with the border, a little over 3 years. And it's not, again, it's when you do shit like this, it's not genuine and people don't believe you. And so, people are going to have a hard time being like, oh yeah, this is anything more than, hey, I'm getting beaten up over this border issue. I got to do something with it temporarily until I get reelected. Come on. Like, seriously, what is this crap?
646. That was it. Biden gets elected. 1.956 million. 2021, almost 2 million. Next year, 2022, 2.766 million. 2023, 3.201 million. 2024, year to date in the first 5 months, 2 million. 1.981 million people. This could be the first 4 million, and it's a record we broke last year. Nobody ever thought this was going to take place.
Just to be clear here, these are the numbers of border encounters. This is not the total number of people who have fled into the country. These are encounters that they have.
So I want to start off.
The real numbers are worse.
I want to start off with you. What do you think is the motive for leaving the border open to allow all of these folks to come in here? He has the ability to stop it. He knows it. People who are involved in politics, they also.
And the proof is that Wednesday, he did something and he stopped it. Let me see this on. Let's see. So let's see. Okay, so he's barred migrants who cross the southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum. Okay, he's strengthened the asylum screening process. Let's see. He's announced new actions to more quickly resolve immigration cases, basically trying to speed up the resolving a portion of immigration cases for migrants who, He's revoked visas of CEOs and government officials who profit from migrants coming to the U.S. unlawfully, expanded efforts to dismantle human smuggling and support immigration prosecution, enhance immigration enforcement, seize fentanyl at the border. So he's done all this, and he started Wednesday with that. So, I mean, it's proof. He could have just done this at any time, but he waited till election year to do it.
Also know it. He keeps saying he can't. Why do you think they're allowing the border to be wide open?
It's what his left flank wants. That's easy. It's what his left flank wants.
It's what his left flank wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do they want it?
It's a mix of wanting to negate what Trump's policy was, right? Very common. One comes in to undo what the other one did. The number one reason, the two reasons that the border flow has been so big under Biden. One is there was an implicit message to the hottest regions that come here seasonally that it would be easier under Biden than it was under Trump, that he would be more welcoming. One. Two is when the Biden administration came in, they undid the executive orders that Trump had in place that motivated home country agreements, which was where, and you can like this or not, but it works. The United States would pay a home country to process there. We'll pay, we'll set up the infrastructure, we'll build whatever you want, but don't have it happen here. Biden got rid of all of those. Now, that number does not reflect something that has happened in the last few months, which is we have seen a dip. Why? Lots of reasons. But one of them is he put those agreements back in place. He made, not all of them, not enough. Remain in Mexico is the one that you hear most often. That's a little bit of a token. Only 75,000 people. And I know that's real. It's 75,000 less than you would have had otherwise. But that wasn't what really did it. It was the whole network of them. Those are the two reasons they're bigger now. What I don't agree with is that the reason they're doing this is so that they have all these new voters that will feel grateful to them. No,
did you know what Chuck Schumer said today? Let me play this clip, Rob. Play the clip of Chuck Schumer. At least he ain't lying in this clip. Play this clip.
He says what you like.
No, but watch what he says. Watch what he says, because you're saying he doesn't, and obviously the motives. Chuck wouldn't lie, obviously. Rob, if you got it, you go for it. Let's watch this.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
I just love that. My favorite part of that is that he's using the old talking points. Like, no one's told him that we've updated this. We don't say this anymore. And even down to he used the old number. Like 11 million is what they used to say like 15 years ago. I know, but I'm just saying 11 million was always the estimate. But that was the estimate during Obama's first term. They used to say 11 million. And then you add all these numbers and you're just like, hey guys, how is the number still the same?
They don't know the number.
Well, listen, here's the thing, right, Pat? And this was, and I remember this well, because I used to watch.
Yeah, no, it's obviously been their desire to, bring in illegals to, shore up their support, because they're seeing that slowly but surely their support is waning here. So you need to get some support from the illegals. That's why they waited till election to do anything about that. And that was simply because they found that, hey, we're getting kind of beat up over here, and we're kind of getting fucked where it's pretty much the biggest talking point that they have here is of a guy of us saying we're not securing our border. So now we got to secure our border. Now we'll open it back up when the election's over and I'm reelected.
A lot of cable news during Obama's years and during the Obama second term. I remember specifically all over the place on CNN and MSNBC, they would just talk about this openly. And what they called it was the browning of America. Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow and Joe Biden and all types of big figures in the media and political class would brag about this. And they would say out loud that our plan here is that listen, look at the demographics. This was their term, demographics is destiny. And the Latino vote overwhelmingly supports Democrats, and they're the fastest growing demographic in this country. And so you do the math, what does that mean? It means Democratic majorities in perpetuity. And they were very open about this, that, hey, they used to say it about Mitt Romney when he was running. They were like, this is the last dying gasp of, the white majority in America, and soon you're going to be a minority, and you can just deal with whatever we want to do at that point. And then when Donald Trump came around and did something that nobody else in 2016 was going to do, which is he made immigration the center of his campaign. That was he rode down that escalator and gave that first speech that this is what we're going to do. We're going to build a wall and deport all illegal immigrants, and that was what his coalition was built around, and it took off and was wildly successful. And to be fair, much more than I thought it was going to be at the time. At the time, I didn't think that was going to be a rallying point the way it was.
First time we've ever had an issue tie for number one with the American people. The economy is back in number one now. Well, but immigration was right.
Yeah. And in some polls, it was most polls, economy number one, but immigration's always number two, and a few had it at number one. But so Donald Trump came down and talked about this, that really, and then, and only then, was it that the people on MSNBC and CNN decided it was racist to bring up the browning of America. And then a few people started calling it the Great Replacement, and some of those people were like some pretty hardcore right-wing, guys. But then they were like, anybody who says this is a neo-Nazi, basically. And but I'm like, I remember hearing Joy Reid say this just a few years before she decided you were literally, I hear Joy Reid going, only neo-Nazis say this. And I'm like, bitch, I remember you saying this like a few years ago. But so look, here's the thing, right? So then when Donald Trump comes down the escalator and he makes immigration the center point of his campaign, this is what the entire establishment, the Democratic and Republican establishment, and most of the media class villainized him for. Look, he's a racist. He called all Mexicans rapists, even though that's not really what he said, but whatever. He called all Mexicans rapists, and he's this horrible racist guy, and they attacked him ruthlessly for this. Then he won the presidency. They attacked him ruthlessly for the kids in cages. Even when Politico was using pictures of cages Obama built, they still attacked Donald Trump for him, right? And now the very interesting dynamic is that partly because, as you said, 2020 was this crazy kind of exception year. So in that year, immigration actually was way down because no one was allowed to leave their house. So how the hell are you going to immigrate anywhere? And so it wasn't a major issue of the 2020 campaign. However, in the years since Joe Biden came in, and I think part of this is what I think you were kind of alluding to in your answer, is that regardless even of what the policy is, when you got the president who's on TV saying build a wall, deport them all, and then you got another party who says you're a horrible racist, and then that party gets in, it does kind of send a signal to the world like, oh, the guys who are easy on immigration are in now. Now, on top of that, there's all types of UN-funded NGOs that are like sponsoring these huge waves of people coming in. That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
There are
to
a
go
lot
down.
of employers in America that sponsor.
That's true too. That's true too. There's always been a big business appetite for cheap labor, obviously, because big business likes cheap labor. But the interesting thing that we're living through this dynamic now is that the crisis has gotten so bad, and also with some savvy political maneuvering by some Republican governors where they've sent them into blue areas, and then as soon as the migrants get into blue sanctuary cities, they go, now it's a crisis, But now everybody essentially has recognized that this is an unsustainable crisis, and it's Donald Trump is in a position where he kind of wins the day on this issue because everybody in power demonized him for taking what now seems to be a fairly common sense position.
Well, he definitely wins the issue because Biden spent 3 years allowing him to own it as president of the United States when he could have done something. And again, I told you guys this earlier, even though I've been in this business a long time and it is a simple business, it's a soundbite business, it's an enragement business. I see a lot of layers to things very often. And 2 things, 3 things, 4 things can be true at the same time. We do need people to fill jobs in this country. We do need to have immigration that works for this country. You also have to have a southern border that's secure and processing. When you talk to the people on the southern border about what they want, what they need, the people who are doing the job CBP, they never start with a wall, okay? What they start with is rule changes on what is asylum, because economic asylum is not asylum, and that's not what we're tied to under international law. We don't have to make it that. And they want rule changes, they want processing agents, they want places to put people, because they are under tremendous emotional strain with what they have to see and do every day, more than any other peace officers we have. That's what they want. And they want all the borders, but it's not just a wall, right? You need sensors in some places, you need drones, you need all this different stuff. And they want to double their manpower. Nobody gave it to them. That's not what Trump gave them. Why? Couldn't get it through Congress. Biden didn't give it to them. Why? Can't get it through Congress. Do you need people to come to this country? Yeah. Are they taking your jobs? No. They're jobs that are open because we don't want to fill them.
Also, by the way, to your point, Donald Trump for his first 2 years had Republican House and Senate, and they still because
that's a negative on Trump. That is a negative. He had all this time, and they didn't really do much about it. That's the problem. Is a lot of these politicians, they'll wait till they're out of control of the House and then say, "Oh, we need to do this," and "Oh, I can't do this because hey, the X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and whatever people are blah 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 blah." So it's a problem.
They're wasting time trying to repeal Obamacare. Why? Because that's what they thought the base wanted. That's my point about the pandemic, is you have to make them think that's what you want. Otherwise, they're not going to act on it. There's no upside to this. All right? Nobody wants to sit between these guys. Nobody wants to have themselves reviewed. Nobody wants anything, especially when they can't beat the other party with it. Immigration is a great issue because it allows, and the left has opened themselves up to this. If you don't want a bunch of brown voters who you think are beholden to you, then why are you doing this? And they don't have a good answer. So it opens the door to a theory about it being replaceable. And Trump did talk about it in a way that was offensive and beneath the dignity of his office. This is a nation of immigrants. Yes, you have to come the right way. No question about that. But he was delivering a different message because there was reaction formation to what the left and the diversity crowd on the left was pushing, and it's called white fright. I probably get more in danger, especially when I was at CNN. I thought this was going to get me fired, this particular issue. I was wrong. But white fright is real, okay? And the response to that is, what's the matter? You don't like having to share your power? Is it sorry you're going to have to earn something now? Oh, that's what you're supposed to say. I say, but they believe this. There are a lot of white people in this country, and they believe that the culture is being redesigned to exclude them. And they think their kids can't get into schools. They think they won't get jobs. They think these things.
I don't know if they think those things. I mean, DEI is the law of the land. I mean, they're openly discriminated against.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they think it wrong.
Yeah.
But you are not allowed. You've never heard anybody talk about that.
Well, listen, I'll just say this, okay? If you were to like turn on the corporate media, you'll hear about whatever white fright or DEI or how there's such this racist portion of the country. Trump supporters are so racist. I don't know. I think from what I've gauged in this crowd so far, it's been a fairly Trump-friendly crowd. I don't know. You guys like Donald Trump? Okay. I see a bunch of races of people. I see like this show is being hosted by an Iranian guy over here. I think well, okay, from
it's a huge insult. That's all right. We'll take
no, I didn't say Persian. I didn't say Persian. I said Iranian, right?
Guy out of now, you know,
whatever it is. I'm just saying,
in the house.
if you turn off cable news, turns out this country's actually pretty cool and we're not that racist of a place to be in. And if they would stop provoking these racial conflicts, there really wouldn't be much.
I think Obama was kind of famous for that. I don't remember race being a big issue until Obama came in, and then all of a sudden race became a really huge issue. And you could try and say like, oh, it was because a bunch of racists came out saying I'm mad that a black guy was president. I don't think that's true. I mean, was there pushback? Absolutely. And everything like that, but I don't think it was a majority of the country. And then all of a sudden we got, this kind of racial war-ish between black and white people. And I really think it was Obama who stoked all that up.
I think the media is an echo of what you have two teams that are about. The reason that we're in the situation that we're in is that division is the best currency in politics.
Yep.
It works the best, okay? Enragement works in media, digital, linear, cable, doesn't matter. People being angry, they'll watch. They'll come in. Everybody got a reason to be angry about something. The only thing that can happen in a two-party system is exactly what we're living. Zero sum. I can only win if he loses. It is way easier for me to make him lose than it is for me to prove to you that I am better. It's way easier to find something with him that's wrong. That's what they're doing. And it's been, you used earlier that this has been accelerating or evolving, this dynamic. I agree with you, but in reverse. I think it's a devolving. I think that this is a breaking down of civility, of decency, of compromise, cooperation. You say, I want to get into Congress, I want to get things done, I'm going to work with the other side. You are a dead man in a primary, especially on the right. That's what this is. The only antidote is bottom up. It will never happen top down.
Well, the thing is that we're in a collapsing empire right now, and that's our job is to try to right this ship. But we're in a late stage empire, and that's what America is. And this rarely comes up in corporate media. But the USA is the most powerful empire in the history of the world, and we are the global empire right now. But we're in the very late stages of that, with all of the characteristics of a late stage empire. And what are those characteristics? Being way too expanded militarily, being very, very far in debt. And then what ultimately happens after that? The culture devolves into decadence. And that's why things are dumber than they've ever been before. And that's why, you have people, whether it's like a gay pride parade where two guys are like slapping their butt cheeks together and then they're going, we're standing up for our rights. Like, no, you're not. You're not fighting for rights. This is decadence. When you see, if you look back at, say, like William F. Buckley's firing line, when it would be William F. Buckley going at it with Gore Vidal. Okay, well, just the level of intelligence there between that and like Sean Hannity going at it with Don Lemon. No offense. There's been a significant fall off. And I think that's what's going on all throughout the country. And what's happening is that the most powerful people are trying to pit us against each other so that we're constantly fighting in a culture war so that we never all get together and realize that, you know what the left wing and the right wing of the culture war have in common? Both of their dollars been destroyed by the Federal Reserve. Okay? But that never gets covered on CNN. You know what I mean? Like I never see like a big segment about that. Hey, how come all those years having the #1 CNN show, not one segment about the secrecy of the Federal Reserve, the secrecy of the CIA? Instead, all we get from the corporate media is, I don't know, the unvaccinated, the Trump supporter, the Biden supporter, pitting Americans against each other, and all the while blaming the American people for these problems. When that's just not true. Most of the American people are good people. They want to take care of their family, go to work, be a member of their community, try to give their kids a little bit more than they had. That's what. And if we had a better media in this country, they would be laser focused on the halls of power and how corrupt they are. Because man, is there a lot of corruption going on at the top here.
Yeah, it's not fair to put it all in the media, though.
No, I'm not putting it all.
The media.
How about a lot? I'm putting a lot of it on the media.
Is an echo of society. What you see in the media. Okay, then tell me this. What do you watch? What do you watch? What do you watch? People watch what they like. People watch what confirms what they believe.
Yeah, but that's a really condescending way to look at people. Listen, let me just say something. So when I want to,
so you think you say a lot of things on your show because you think people aren't going to like them and they're not going to, they won't watch you anymore.
If you want to honestly ask this question, yes, there are a lot of times where I say things on my show that I know my audience will be upset with me for. There's a lot of times when I know there's positions where I could get way more eyes on me and grow my audience, but I don't take.
You are the most amenable libertarian I have ever talked to.
No, I'm just an honest person, man. And it's totally like it's totally.
You are so insane.
No. But here's the problem, Chris. And maybe this is the problem. Maybe this is the problem with a lot of the attitude in the corporate media is that that's what you think of the American people. That you just want to listen to. That's just no. But what you said before that was not about me, and that's what I was responding to. When you say that people just want to listen to whatever confirms their bias, I don't think that's actually true.
But that's what goes well in the media. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying I don't think that's true. I disagree with you. So I'm saying I don't think that's true. I don't think that Joe Rogan just confirms the bias of the people who listen to him. And I don't think that
Joe Rogan has a unique platform. He is a unique figure within that world.
Yes, right. Okay. Anyway, listen. When I try to figure something out, like I've done like a bunch of like debates and shows about the war in Gaza right now. I've done like 8 debates on this topic. What I try to do in preparing for that is I read the smartest people on all sides of the issue.
And they told you that Iran was shocked by what happened on October 7th?
No.
That's what the smartest people told you? Because I heard you say that on a show with Alec LeBron.
Okay, well, let me just finish making the point that I'm making. And that actually, you know who said that? The CIA said that.
No,
but anyway, let me get back
to the CIA
to
did not say Iran was in shock on October 7th.
Yes, okay. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying.
Go ahead.
So I will read Benny Morris, who is a world-renowned historian, but is very much on the pro-Israel side. And then I will read John Mearsheimer, who's a big critic of the Israeli lobby and the current war here, and lots more people like that. I think there are lots of Americans who are smart about this stuff and who do actually search out people who have different views than them, especially intelligent people who have different views than them. And listen, man, I'll tell you this, for example, for me, if I just supported Donald Trump and would just go, I'm on the Trump train, 2024, it would, I promise you, grow my audience, grow my bottom line, make me more money. I guarantee that 100%. The reason I
don't decide outright definitely helps.
Yes, no, right. And the reason I don't do that is because I just don't see that the guy's learned anything from his last administration to this one. And I think we're going to have all the same problems in the next administration that we had in the last one. But for you to just say that, like, as if everybody who hosts a show, or you're saying me, I host a show, I just tell my audience what they want to hear, that's just not true.
No, I don't mean that that's all you do. I'm saying that there is a proclivity, especially when you're a solo act doing things. And you bring us on. Again, I've watched 19 hours of your stuff. I watched comedy. I watched the Skank thing. I watched what you do with all this stuff.
So I got Chris Cuomo watching Legion of Skanks.
I watched
preparation for this podcast.
I watched the debate that you had about why you're a libertarian and you don't want to pay taxes and all this. And I would listen.
I pay my taxes in case anyone's.
I have to. You have to. That's why. So look, I want everything you were saying about people having curiosity and reaching across to be true. I just don't live it as a reality. Now, is it more true in my personal life than it is in my professional life? Yes. Why? Because in our regular lives, we don't talk about most of the things that you see on cable news or politics. People don't talk about it as much. They talk about their kids. They talk about their interests and their passions.
Yeah, because because it's all everywhere we watch now is everything we see, everything we have an issue with. It's always on the news or it's always in what we're watching, shit like that. There's nothing. So, when we get back and we're talking to our friends and family, we don't really want to get into the politics of anything because we're exhausted because it's everywhere, everything we watch, every TV show, every random article on your Twitter. It's all politics. It's all politics, everything. So it's like, we're kind of tired of it and we kind of just want to go and relax.
And whatever big things are happening, that's what they talk about. But once you get into Thunderdome, it's all about division all the time. So I'm at News Nation, right? Which I went to because I liked what the guy who runs it, this guy, Perry Sook. He owns the most TV stations in the country, and he has his cable one now. He was like, look, I just want you to have people on from across the spectrum. Just have them on. I was like, oh man, it's gonna get loud. And he's, that's not normal, the decorum that they want, It's not the Legion, but I mean, it's, it's usually, you don't want to have people going at it. The audience will say, I don't like when they talk over each other. Well, that's what happens when people have conflicting ideas. So I went there for it. And they're really trying. They're really trying to have people have a range of representation in terms of the people who are on camera being transparent about what they think about things. I think it's kind of dangerous for journalists. But I think that we've kind of evolved as a culture, not evolved, where people want to know where the people on TV stand on the things that they're talking about. It used to be that you didn't want to know so that you could believe that I was just, dealing with both sides. Now I believe you want to know. And then you'll see how I deal with both sides. But that's just my opinion. But I see the struggle that News Nation is having by not picking sides. And I see it in the ratings. And I see it in the trends of stories and how they're covered. Even this trial, if you are not, he's going down, or this is a travesty, this is the worst, you're not really getting a percentage of the audience. And I think that's part of the reality also. Now, do I believe that you can get past it?
I don't know about that.
Well, I do know about it. It's a fact.
I'll give you another fact.
Alternative fact.
Just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Rogan had Bernie Sanders on. That's the guy he voted for.
Right.
And his positions have changed tremendously from where Bernie was then.
Yes.
To where he's at today.
Yes.
How come he hasn't lost following? I don't think it's about picking sides, guys. And I'm going to give it to you as well, and then we'll wrap up because we got to finish up at 9:07. We got to go to the lounge, cigar lounge, have a couple cigars, and have somebody go home and do their things. I think in regards to News Nation saying, well, we don't want people talking over each other. You know who proved that model wrong? That's Piers Morgan. He's killing everybody on TV and podcasts since October 7th. He's the #1 podcast from October 7th till now. TV show, what he's doing with his program and bringing everybody in, and Bassem Youssef, you had him on, we had him on, and oh my God, 38 million views. He took advantage of this. It was kind of like a Morton Downey Jr. too.
Bassem should have a show. You guys know who he is?
Yeah. And then also going back to you to Dave. I don't think it's about whether I guarantee you if I go to Republican, I'm going to get more. I guarantee you if I go to this, I'm going to get more. I'm staying as libertarian, all this other stuff. I think there's also a level of growth for you, for me, for all of us. What do I mean by this? And Elon Musk was never a Republican. And Elon Musk was not a fan of Trump. And Elon Musk was a completely different guy, okay? He's got more popularity and trust today than he's ever had before. People are following him. He's doing what he's doing, right? He was a guy that was on the left. Then he started hypocrisy. Then he was a little bit more of a libertarian, but he realized, well, libertarian, you're just not going to win. Look who you guys just elected. That guy's not going to win. You know it. You can like him. He can be a nice guy.
No, he's going to be the next president of the United States.
Exactly. Yes. So you have that part, but watch what they're doing now. And Elon Musk and Trump and Tucker. If somebody told you 8 years ago, 2016, how Tucker was thinking about Trump and the stuff that was leaking, and what Musk was thinking, that 8 years later there could be a unity between those, that's not called they're pandering to win more. I think they're sitting there saying, let me just finish my thoughts. I want to listen to you guys because we want to wrap up. I think that's more sitting there and saying, you got 4 years of Biden to look at now, almost 4 years. You got 4 years of Trump to look at now. If I'm sitting there and I got two people coming for a job interview, this guy comes here. So listen, I noticed the last 2 years you haven't worked. What happened? Oh, I had a sick family member I had to take care of, and it's been that's why I've taken 2 years off. Yeah, yes, or maybe according to me having done thousands of interviews, you had a job that fired you. You don't want to put on your resume because you don't want me to make the reference call. That could be the case. Now, this other guy here, I look at his resume and I'm like, okay, while this guy was doing this, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this. He's one in media, he's one in business, he's one over here. Yeah, if I pick this guy versus this guy's resume, when this guy was in town, there was Russia, Ukraine, and we gave a bunch of money to Ukraine. He became the greatest beggar of all time, Zelensky. And Israel and Hamas, that went shit. And then let me see what else is. Economy, oh my God, the middle America is getting destroyed. The Max 7 is making all this money. Oh, look how much billionaires. These guys are making money. But I thought Democrats were for the poor and Republicans were for the rich. But most of the top billionaires worth over $100 billion, 80% of them are for the left. Why are they giving money to the left? I'm confused. But this guy over here, there used to be something we used to think about with ISIS. ISIS disappeared. There was no war. Nothing happened with Ukraine and Russia. Nothing happened with Israel and Hamas. In North Korea, Russia, Putin, Xi. Wait a minute. I got these two guys. And I know you guys like to say you have the worst of two. I don't think you do. I think one side, we have a resume that shows us results on what happened. This other side, we have a resume that shows us chaos. Chaos, complete chaos.
That is the exact word that the other side uses to describe the other resume because you're leaving out who was in there.
Did you hear what all those black people were saying?
All seven?
You think it's only...
I think that if he gets more...
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, how many people show up when Biden goes out there in campaigns?
Not as many because he does not have the celebrity value that Trump does.
Not as many. I think what's happening in America, there's a part of it. If it was a Republican establishment candidate that was doing all of this bullshit that's taking place, taking advantage of the other guy, going after the guy on the left. So let's just say the other guy's an anti-establishment Democrat, RFK. Let's say RFK is a Democrat right now, and Trump is a Republican. And if Trump was the president today, and
latest poll has Bobby beating Trump.
If Trump was the president today, and RFK was
latest poll has Bobby. No, I've yet to see a poll that says RFK is going to beat Trump. I've yet to see any poll like that. What are you talking about, dude? Like now he's just saying some random shit. Also, like another thing is simple. It's we're tired of this two-party system. Basically, we're tired of no one really getting anything done except a few small things here and there. That's about it. We're really tired of it. We're tired of like, hey, it's oh hi XYZ, I'm doing XYZ. This is me. Blah 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 blah. And then now I actually did it. Now we're tired of that. We're tired of bullshit. We just want like some honesty and some people actually doing shit and getting shit done. Like we're tired of our country going slowly down the drain because no one's getting anything done because they're just trying to game the system. Everything they do, they're just trying to get they're just doing for votes. We don't trust anyone anymore. And we shouldn't.
The former, and Trump was court, DOJ, documentation, everything. I'm willing to tell you, a lot of Republicans would have gone from here and said, listen, I just don't like the way you're treating RFK. I'm supporting RFK. I think there's a group of people right now as Democrats and libertarians that are saying, I'm sorry, this year I'm going this way.
I don't know.
Well, just to back up your broader point there, I mean, there were hundreds of counties across the country that went for Obama, specifically for Trump.
Yeah, let me say this. Go ahead, Dave.
He's greatly discounting how much Trump makes people feel both ways. You have more voters than we've ever seen before say there's nothing that could make me vote for this guy, and there's nothing that could make me not vote for this guy. We've never seen anything.
I think he's definitely the most polarizing figure in modern American history. I think he's probably less polarizing this election than he was in the 2020 election, and I think that's just because Joe Biden's done such a bad job.
I got to think about it. I think that with this New York thing really changed the dynamic for me. I see it being perceived differently. I think people really believe he's a victim, even when they say he did it. Which again, I've never heard it before. I've never heard of people saying, "Yeah."
Well, yeah, they could say like, "Yeah, no, he most likely did. He more than likely did it. I can get that." But then they're saying like, "But this is normally a misdemeanor case, and now they're making it a felony because there's some sort of election interference." But then he's never been charged with election interference. But somehow we're supposed to believe that he did a misdemeanor, and now we're all gonna, charge him. I absolutely believe that. Yeah, did he pay Stormy Daniels? Yeah, did he reimburse Conan? Absolutely. My harp has been that the the state has not proven this though. Like New York City, the people, whatever whatever it's fucking called, however you want to call it, but the prosecution did not prove their case at all, not one bit. They have yet to prove their case. Okay, there's like it hasn't been proven. Like there's no way you can be like, they absolutely proved that Donald Trump knew any of this. They didn't prove that at all. All they got is Michael Conan's word and the checks. That's all they got. They haven't proved that, hey, Donald Trump knew this was for a fact it wasn't reimbursement. He knew for a fact there was no retainer agreement, et cetera, et cetera. There's no proof of that at all in any of the state's case. So people believe that, yeah, Donald Trump did it. They also believe that, one, it's a misdemeanor. So why is this charged into a felony? Oh, because it was some sort of election interference? I don't believe that, because we know every politician, okay, all politicians go around and try to get people to, quash bad stories and just highlight good stories. We all know politicians do that. All right. This isn't a big shock. Okay. We also probably don't think that's a huge enough deal that requires a prosecution in it. And then two, the prosecution didn't even prove their case at all. It was literally Michael Conan's word. That's literally all the case was.
Yeah, he probably did it, but they shouldn't have done this to him.
Well, it's interesting in a way, because I do think there's a point to that, right? That like, even if if Bill Clinton had mishandled some classified documents, they weren't going to raid his home over it. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, he did, and they did it. And I do think that Joe
Biden as well.
Joe Biden had a pitch in 2020 that he doesn't have in 2024.
Right.
And his pitch in 2020 was, let's go back to normal. Look how crazy the last 4 years are. I've been the guy who's been in Congress for 17 centuries. Yeah. Let's just go back to normal old Joe Biden. COVID was that year, right. So he could not campaign much and kind of defend it by saying, hey, I'm being responsible.
It's always different when you have a record.
Now, but also I think there was a big narrative that was blown up. And I actually understand where a lot of people in the corporate press kind of embrace this narrative, because I think it was a much easier one than to look at what was really going on. But I think they kind of felt like Donald Trump made things crazy. Like everything was kind of going along the way it was, and then here came this guy Donald Trump in 2016, and he made things crazy. When really he was a symptom of the problem, not the cause of it. And you found that out when you removed him in 2020, and put Joe Biden in there, and it was just as crazy.
Watch this clip here. Still said Democrats don't vote. I want you to play this clip, Rob. If you got it, pull this clip, and we'll wrap it up here. Go ahead, guys. Watch this clip here.
I voted Democrat. You Puerto Rican. You're Spanish, live in the hood. You're supposed to vote Democrat. But once you start waking up to the biggest mistake they did was mess with Trump, because that woke up a lot of people. What they're doing now is waking up even more people. So you would never guess all these people here for Trump. You would never see it before. You couldn't even see that in 2020. You wouldn't see it, but now you're seeing it. The worst thing they did is do what they do. What they do to him it's just making it easier for us to go on the other side. What they're doing to us, the American people in the working class, you're making us go somewhere else. You're losing votes. I would never, ever vote for them ever again. Not locally, no state, federal, nothing. It was like,
and that's a Democrat. And there's a lot of people that I think feel that way right now in America. So anyways, gang, more than anything else, for all of you guys watching out there who are with us, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, a lot of times when this happens, people send me messages. I'm like, listen, ask the source. Rob, if you can put up their Monex, you can connect them directly, and they'll get back to you. Whatever side, you agree, disagree, respect, whatever you want to say, you get to communicate with these guys directly, and they'll respond to you. For the audience out here that are still here with us, and you as well, you've done a great job. I know it's late for you, but I think you've been fantastic. On the outro. It's late, and he's 82. He wants to get some rest. You will. Can we make some noise for what a phenomenal job both of these gentlemen did being out here? I appreciate you guys. Chris, appreciate it. And also the entire crew here, music, background, everything you guys did. This is the best one you guys ever done. Shout out to Kelly, Rob, everybody else here. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night. The future looks bright. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
David, how about him, huh? Oh. Okay.
All right, hold on. I'm getting set. Fucking hell. All right, hold on. I gotta redo this.
Please, if you could please start lining up.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of that. We're all good. So what we're gonna do here, real quick, is do a little bit of a reaction one again. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Now I gotta. Oh my fucking god! Hold on. All right. Just give me a second and we will be good to go. Just getting all my links up. The pain in the butt to do. I should have done this while the whole thing was going, but I got distracted. God, I just wish I could fucking. Can I just. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay. There we go. Boom. We are good to go. All right. Let's get started. Let's get started on doing a reaction stream. Go on. Let's do it. All right. Ooh. Mm. Okay. All right. So we'll just do a nice old reaction stream. Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Hold on. Looks like I have to do it this way because I don't think I can share audio if I do that. All right. All right. Let's see what happens.
Ma'am, I wrote you a citation for
Writing me a ticket?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know in the
God
books,
damn it.
Ned?
Ma'am, I wrote you a citation
You're
for going.
writing me a ticket?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who my father is?
Why? Didn't your mother tell you? Ma'am, I wrote.
Oh, I forgot that. I wrote you a ticket, ma'am. You wrote me a ticket? Yes, ma'am, I did. Do you know who my father is? Oh, man. I don't know if that's obviously it's a skit. It's obviously a skit. Who records that perfectly. Like, no, that type of interaction never happens perfectly in real life. But man, I wish I did. It'd be hilarious. If it was me and I tried that shit, I was like, "Do you know who my father is?" or blah blah blah, and the cop said that to me, I'd be dying laughing. That'd be hilarious. I was like, "Shit! All right, give me the citation." Fuck. I forgot. That's funny. That's just a good old laugh. All right. You can't hate that. That's just hilarious. That's a great response. That's a response that you should always give whenever, one of these entitled Karen shit fuckers come up and like, do you know who my father is? Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I could almost bet that every woman at this table, or I know like at least 99% of the women I know in my life have been a victim to a man in some form, whether it was sexually or physically.
But I don't believe it. So
You
here's
don't
the thing,
believe it?
right? Like, I don't actually
100%
believe that
of
this is
women
so.
have been-
What I think happens
I said
instead, and the stats bear this out as well, is that things which women would consider to be SA, men just simply do not. So, for instance, unwarranted touching by women towards men just disregard it, whereas women will often freak out about it. And by the way, I also have the Cardinal Wilson rule. If there was no police report, I don't fucking believe you. That's my actual rule. If there was no police report, the chances that it actually happened in a significant way are not true.
I could almost bet that.
Yeah, this whole shit is ridiculous. Like, I'm willing to bet, I know 90. No, you don't. 99 women who say something, but then never take any action. So why should I believe you in the first place? I've had this rule too. I remember getting into it with people, and I can't even remember what this discussion. I think it was on abortion or something like that. We're having this discussion, and I was making the obvious, hey, keep your legs closed and you'll have no problem. And some lady decided, well, I kept my clothes or my legs closed, and I was still great, blah, blah, blah. The obvious, first off, I don't believe you. And I asked her, I still don't really believe her, but I asked her, all right, did you file a police report? She didn't answer directly, so which is why I don't believe her. But she first was like, I don't even remember what she said, but like she first off, when I say keep your legs closed, I don't mean that literally. I mean in the sense of don't fuck people that you don't know are gonna have aren't gonna be good fathers or anything of that nature, to avoid having to get an abortion and stuff. Or don't fuck someone if you're not ready to have kids, something like of that nature. That was the obvious meaning behind my words. Keep your legs closed. And every time you get into this, all right, you always get that one person who says they've been raped or of such nature, and we got to have abortions for those people and stuff. And it's like, okay, but you say these things, and then I ask you, most of the time when I ask, did you file a police report? You know what I get? No. Now she said yes. I don't really believe her. I think she was just trying to win the conversation. But it's just funny. Women will always say like, trying to use SA, grape, whatever you want to try and like justify some sort of actions they're having. And then when we ask them, well, did you file a police report? And then they're like, well, no, I didn't want to, or for whatever fucking reason, I didn't file a police report. And then we go, all right, well, I don't believe you then. And they get offended. And they try to make up some excuse and stuff, and it's like, look, I don't give a shit what the excuse is or whatever. If you didn't file a police report, what evidence do I have to use what evidence is there for me to consider that you actually say something actually happened? Okay, if you don't have a police report, why should I believe you? Like that's what Andrew's trying to get at here is if you don't have a police report, why should I believe you? And they'll give you that answer like, oh, I didn't, I just didn't want to. It was so traumatizing or some bullshit like that. And I think if you don't, if something happened to you and you didn't file a police report, you're probably worse. You're probably, fairly bad, because now that individual can continue and do they always give that excuse. Well, they don't believe me. It's really hard to prove it. It's like, yeah. Okay, so you can still file a police report if it happened. Even if you can't prove it, you could lend some credibility to your story, at least some. Because when you come down 20 plus years later, which you will, and the guy suddenly is becoming a congressman or maybe even running for president or something, and then you come out with some accusations, and all we got is, oh, this happened someday, but I didn't file a police report. Why should we believe you? Why should we believe anything you say? Like it's ridiculous at this point that all of a sudden I'm a bad person because I asked for a police report just for some evidence that you're actually saying something that is true. There's a possibility you're saying something is true, instead of just saying something to try and win the argument against me, which is what happens most of the time.
Is she not entitled to make that choice if she doesn't like her
Well,
husband anymore?
I think that if you put your own self's entitlement above that of your children in order to have access to their father in a two-parent household, you're setting them up for failure. And that's what we see in the stats. If you make the commitment to make children with him, and he's not abusing you, okay, and he's not beating you up, and he's not abandoning you, he's not doing all the bad things, then no, I think you should put your children before your own happiness. I think you have a duty and obligation to do so.
Is she not entitled?
Like, it's all like, this is the problem with women now. It's all about my happiness. I need to be happy. Okay, you think men are happy, busting their ass, working day by day, breaking their backs, just having all this weight and responsibility to ensure your family has a good living? You think men are happy? Men aren't happy. But you know what we don't do? We don't divorce our wives just because we're unhappy. Okay. But women here is like, well, I'm not happy. I don't feel good. I'm not happy. And then you ask them, like, all right, so he's beating you up. No. Okay, he cheated on you. No. Okay, he abandoned you. No. Well, then what? Okay, so you're unhappy because that's something you got to deal with. It's a you problem, not an us problem. You're unhappy, so instead of, hey, let's work through it and at least continue on until the kids are out of school and are on their way to college or something. Instead of knuckling down, just bearing through that, or trying to search for happiness within the marriage until that point. You're just like, you know what? I'm just not happy. I'm going to divorce him and fuck the kids. It's what these women actually think. Women are very selfish creatures, it seems, nowadays. It's always about, well, I'm not happy, so I shouldn't be doing this. Instead of, well, I'm unhappy. I'm going to try and work my ass off. Because, the second they're unhappy, they'll just go to the quickest option. But instead of, I'm unhappy, I'm going to search for some happiness within my marriage. And instead of doing that, they just go quick to, I'm just going to divorce them and move on. And then they end up being as more miserable later on and regretting their decisions. Right? They it's a lot of these women nowadays, they don't want to do the hard work. Marriage is a hard job. It's hard work. Okay? It's not going to be easy breezy all the time. Okay? But instead of actually working through it and trying to do stuff, most women nowadays will just take the easy route and get divorced, because there's no loss for them if they get divorced, really, at least in the beginning. Okay, they get the children, they'll get alimony, they'll get child support, they'll get et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a bunch of incentives for women to divorce their husband instead of some negativity for them. It's all negative for the men. That's why men don't divorce, because we don't gain anything if we get divorced. We get half our shit taken every time. So it's ridiculous. If there was some sort of incentive that, unless you can prove, okay, not just say shit, but prove that there was, some abuse or something like that, actual abuse, not emotional abuse, but actual abuse, then hey, it's gonna be more difficult for us to divorce. Anyways, women probably work harder at trying just to find happiness in themselves instead of waiting for someone outside them, waiting for their husband to do it while he's busy working his ass off every day or anything of that nature. It's just ridiculous. Like, oh, well, isn't she entitled to be happy? You're not entitled to be happy. Okay, you have to become happy yourself. And there's nothing saying that you can't find happiness while you're in the marriage. You don't have to immediately divorce your husband just because you're unhappy in a moment. Happiness is fleeting. It comes and it goes. But if you work at it, find some happiness, get a hobby or something that you enjoy. Stop looking at all the FOMO stuff, like, oh, all these girls like my age are going out and doing this stuff, and I'm stuck at home, with a loving husband and stuff. This is terrible. Instead of looking at that, look at all the TikToks of women complaining about the men that they have, and they're obviously signaling shit. And appreciate your man. My wife does that. She'll look at she'll watch videos and stuff and see some asshole husbands and stuff and realize, man, she really has it good. And it's funny too. Now, of course, she obviously sees the other FOMO stuff, but fortunately, she's not into any of that crap. I say that now, but who knows what happens. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. She's entitled to be happy. You're not entitled to anything. Okay, you have to earn everything you get.
If I may, I know the verse that I quoted earlier about the husband's role in the marriage says the husbands must love their wives, but women respect your husbands.
That's not what it says. It says that you need to submit.
This is the one thing I love about Andrew is these broads come in and they'll quote some Bible verse they saw. It's not the actual like Bible verse, but it sounded nice when they heard it, so they'll just quote it. And then Andrew's like, "That's not what it says. This is what it actually says." And you just realize like this chick is dumb. She just saw something on TikTok or Facebook or some shit like that, or Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and it turned and they're like, "Oh, this sounds nice, so I'm going to quote this."
Your husband.
Yes, it says respect and
That's
submit.
not respect. Submission is different. That's an overage, right? So there's more to it than just respecting. Submission does not just mean respect. That means submission. And that's something which is absent in society. And that's why guys like Brian refuse to take a bullet for women, because they refuse to submit to patriarchal authority. And if they did, he would be far more inclined to do so. That's why, by the way, he would do it for his children, because they see him as an authority, a patriarchal authority in the household. And so he knows that that's his greater duty. But why would he have a greater duty to women who don't submit?
That was
Well,
beautiful.
if I may,
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's yeah. Why would men want to take a bullet for someone who just doesn't submit to their authority? Why should we? Why should men do that? It's women just think, oh, submission is just being respectful. Women don't understand submission, and they misconstrued submission ever since like 50 Shades of Grey came out. They think it's all that whips and chains and shit like that, and it's degrading or some shit like that. There's nothing degrading about submission. It's willfully giving up control to another person you trust, love, admire, and respect. The problem is these women have in the past submitted to the wrong guys that they knew were the wrong guys, but they just made them feel all tingly and shit. And I'm just gonna do that. And now that negative connotation of submitting to the wrong guy is, oh well, every guy's gonna be wrong. But if you get a guy who's that you love, admire, and respect and treats you well, why shouldn't you submit? Why wouldn't you submit? Why wouldn't you willfully give up control? Okay. And give it to the man that you love, admire, and respect. All right. And the right man, if you would choose better, would take that, honor it, and go forward and ensure that your life is better and that your happiness, that you're far more happier than he is. Because I guarantee any guy, okay, that that is worth his salt and works his ass off to provide for his family, his wife is far happier than he is. And that's why I could call complete bullshit when women say I'm divorcing because I'm unhappy. All right, you may be divorcing because you're unhappy, but guess what? Your husband's probably far unhappier than you are, but he's working his ass off to ensure that you are happier than he is. Because that's the man's goal. Now, what do I mean by happier? I don't mean like he's simping on you or doing any of that shit. That's not what I mean. I mean that your life is far easier than his is. All right. He's working his ass off, going daily grinding. If he's working his ass off correctly, you're not working if you don't want to. You just have to do hobbies and take care of his kids. Okay. So it's complete bullshit that these women just don't want to submit just because they've read 50 Shades of Grey and thinks it's all whips, chains, and all that stuff. When that's not submission at all. Submission is just giving up control willfully to someone that you admire and respect. And if you do that to the right person, you'll be far happier, because like it's exhausting trying to have control of oneself all the time and having to ensure everything. But then, again, to his point, is this is why men don't want to take bullets for women, because if I take a bullet for this woman and she's not a submissive woman, like why should I? Like why should I do that to a woman who's just a headache instead of peace? Someone that brings me peace and submits to my authority. Okay, if I have authority over you, I have the responsibility. But if you're not willing to submit to my authority, why the fuck should I be responsible for you? It's ridiculous.
A lot of women are afraid of men.
Why would they be afraid of men anyway? Most of the domestic violence happens from women to men, not from men to women. In fact, there was a meta-analysis that was done on this.
Men are 3 times more likely to commit a violent crime.
Now, hang on. That may be true against other men, but not
in
against
general.
women. When it comes to women, you're looking at domestic violence stats. It's absolutely not true. The difference in frequency of violence and reported injury between relationships with reciprocal and non-reciprocal intimate partner dynamics. Inside of this, it was
Andrew, that just went over her head. All right. She's not that smart to understand a single word you just said.
discovered that men are just far less likely to report that they were the victims of domestic violence because it's demasculating. However, women are the ones who assault men far more than men assault women.
Okay, a lot of women are afraid of men.
There's always this like a lot of women are afraid of men because they're dumb. All right. Because guess what? The majority of the time you interact with a guy, you're not afraid of him. All right. You're not afraid of him. What you're afraid of is the type of guy that you're actually attracted to and willing to sleep with. You're afraid of, percentage of those guys. And the reason you're afraid of them is because instead of looking at the heart of an individual, you just look on what gives you the tingly feelies. All right. And he's normally not the best dude. All right. You pick the bad boy because the bad boy is just gets your motor running better. And that those bad guys, and then you're surprised when the bad guy that you chose turns out to be an asshole. I mean, kind of in the job description, bad guy, asshole, job description. So it's actually completely untrue. Women aren't afraid of men. They're afraid of a percentage of men that they are attracted to. Because the majority of men you interact with, guess what? You're not afraid of them. All right. You don't give two shits about them. You'll probably say some asshole, some cunty shit to them. All right. But you're not afraid of men. You're afraid of the percentage of men that you're attracted to. Yeah, but they take that because women are dumb. And instead of, looking at an actual generality, they generalize the men that they actually interact with, not the men that take up the entire world around them.
What you're trying to do is push society towards women moving out of the workforce, which means don't go to college and get a degree. It's a waste of your time. Start a family instead. And the government can even create incentives to have you start a
That's
family.
impossible in the current state of society, though.
What?
What you just said.
No, it's not. Incentives for...
If I didn't go to college, I would be working at a fast food restaurant for the rest of my life.
No, you could get married and have children.
I could drop ship, okay? But
No,
like,
you could get married and have children and even have a home business. What do you mean? What you're trying...
Look, see, this chick that he was arguing with, it's just dumb. She's really dumb. She's the epitome of a dumb 19-year-old, however old she is. She's like, if I didn't go to college, I've been working at fast food my entire life. Guess what? You don't need to go to college to have a good job. All right. You could be, there's a various other places that don't require a college degree. Most places require a high school degree that you can pay get paid a good job. But Andrew's point is you could, spend your time looking for a husband that will take care of you and get married as early as you can to a guy that's, a good guy. You could do that. And then you don't have to do shit because the other guy's going to take care of you. You can maybe have some side hustle or something like that, but it's not a big deal. And you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But no, she's like, well, if I got to get a college degree so I could get a good job. Guess what? You get that college degree, odds are you're not going to really get that good job. You'll probably be a step above fast food. That's about it. It's not going to be a good job. Oh, this is a good one. When police are dumb.
Get out of my face, man. You guys are harassing me. Yes, you guys are. He's harassing me. Why are you harassing me? You're assuming I'm someone I'm not. Am I getting detained? Yeah, you are. For what? You think that's the...
Well, that's not a proper reason to have a. Oh, this cop here is like, because I think you have a warrant. Well, guess what, dude? That doesn't mean that you actually have a justifiable, reasonable suspicion of a crime. Just because you think I have a warrant, why do you think I have a warrant? Do you have any like articulable, reasonable? Was it reasonable? Fuck, what's the word I'm thinking? But I mean, there is. Are you able to articulate a reason? I don't even think you can ask someone for an ID just because you think they have a warrant. I don't think that's legal. You gotta have they're gonna have to have a crime for you to actually request an ID. They've had to actually commit a crime for you to have to be able to ID them. So that's just dumb.
Illusion, you think? We're not gonna play this game. You guys are not gonna try to manhandle me first. Hey, yo. Hey. You guys really had nothing else to go to college for but be a cop and harass me? Call your supervisor. Call your supervisor over here. You guys are the stupidest motherfuckers I ever met in my life. My ideas are not that perfect. Y'all got watch today. Watch how funny this is. Look at it. Oh, what does that say? What does that say? Oh. Oh, God. Get out my face, man.
Oh man, these fucking dumbass cops. They're like, oh, I think you have a warrant. Okay, yeah, I have a warrant. I'm an FBI agent. Like, it's the problem with cops nowadays. There's just, that's what happens when you do the whole defund the campaign shit. Is when all of a sudden you get a bunch of bad cops, and more of these pop up where they're just act like idiots because all the good cops are like, fuck this, I'm not gonna have to deal with all this crap where I'm gonna be in I'm gonna get bitched at for just doing my job, just actually doing my job just because the guy's black and I'm white. They're gonna be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And now you got a bunch of dumb cops who haven't been really trained properly by veteran cops that were good cops. So now they're like, I think you have a warrant. That's not an articulable crime. You got to have a crime for me to ID you, for you to ID me. Just because you think I have a warrant, I mean, show a picture of my face with a warrant on it. I don't think just because you think I have a warrant makes you able to take my ID.
I have
or even detain me.
A question for Andrew. Do you think men should step up in situations like these and take on the responsibility?
Answer the question.
If the situation is that you get a woman pregnant, should you take care of your child? Absolutely.
Okay.
In this particular case, though, I'm not certain that that's actually what happened here. And I'm not convinced that that's what happened here. And there's more holes in this story than a block of Swiss cheese. So I'm trying to get to the heart of it. And I'm not so sure that this is exactly how things went down just because they're presented that way.
Of course you
the more that we question it, the more that we start to get to the bottom of it, the more this looks like a revenge plot by the admission of both of you to try to get some kind of backsies at these guys because they basically fucked you or he fucked you and dumped you, right? I mean, basically he fucked you both and then he dumped you both and you're pissed.
I have a question for Andrew.
I mean, that's true. That's all there. If you don't remember, the Asian chick's Daisy. The white chick's Noelle. Okay, Noelle's this chick who's like, oh, I don't want to have a kid out of wedlock. And they banged Fresh and Fit, both of them. She's saying that, I didn't want to have kids out of wedlock. I told him to wear a condom, blah blah blah. And then 5 to 10 minutes after meeting him in person, we were hooking up, and I didn't make sure he put on a condom. It's his fault that he didn't put on a condom. And then I took a Plan B pill afterwards, and then we met up a second time, and I banged him again without a condom. And then now you finish. He was done with me, so now I'm pissed off. And then Daisy, that's a whole drama thing. I'm sure everyone's heard about it at this point, and it's funny. All right, let's look at some more terrible cops.
These cops showed up on this lady's doorstep and immediately covered the doorbell camera to hide their actions. But in the U.S., the Fourth Amendment protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures, and it requires cops to have a warrant. Luckily, this lady knows the law and properly reacts to the dishonest cops, sending them packing with zero tolerance.
You get your fucking hand off my fucking camera right now! I apologize. Get your fucking hand! Shut the fuck up! Don't cover my fucking camera, son!
That's an officer safety protocol that we usually
Oh, really? No, for my sake.
It's an officer safety protocol. You got to cover my camera. Okay. No, it's a I don't want to be seen caught doing some bad shit, so I'm gonna do some bad shit. Come on, like it's not an officer safety protocol. Okay. You're gonna have to show me the policy right there. All right. I don't believe you.
Safety protocol? You ain't covering my fucking cameras. What the do you want?
I am here to talk to you.
You got a fucking warrant?
I actually do have a warrant.
Oh, really? Get the off my property.
Are you home to come out and talk with me? It's just a few of us
Bye.
here.
I don't give a who's there. You can stand on the curb and then you can show me your warrant. But until then, I suggest you get the off my property, bitch.
No need for that name calling. I've
Okay, look, lady. If you're gonna try and cover someone's camera, okay, so they can't see who's at the fucking door, and you want to try, don't call me mean names. Fuck off. All right, fuck off, you dumbasses. You called me mean names. It's not polite. I don't give a fuck, and she clearly doesn't give a fuck. All right, guess what? Be rude. Cops doing dumb shit. Be rude. You don't have to be nice to cops if you don't have to. You have to cooperate with cops, but you don't have to be nice to them. And look, if she had a warrant, she could have just provided it. And guess what? She probably would have had a cooperating individual. Maybe. She didn't have a warrant. Of course she didn't have a warrant. If she had a warrant, she wouldn't have fucking left. All right.
Do you care about being liked for your personality at all, or it's just like your status? Like,
if you don't reach a certain status, she's not going to give a fuck about your personality. That's
the
the reality.
I don't believe that's true. The first thing that somebody is attracted to is your personality, charm, and your charisma. Personality, charm, and your charisma.
For me personally, it's you have to meet me at least halfway. Or
Okay.
You know, but like,
so if you're making $100,000, you would not date a guy that makes $40,000.
I want to be able to grow from you.
So the answer is no. Okay, fair enough.
Be able to grow from you.
Adam just asked you, right? If you can date a guy that doesn't match your requirements for money, right? What'd you say? Your level or above?
Yeah.
It proves my point before when I said you can't even play the game unless you're of a certain level, but then you guys want something with personality. And I'm saying men can't even play sometimes with certain types of women and won't even get a chance unless they rise to a certain level.
Do you care?
I just love these chicks who try to disagree and say, no, it's about your personality. All that shit matters. And then 20 minutes later, they forget they just said that bullshit lie. And now when it actually comes to it, they're like, well, you got to at least make as much as I do. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't reach a certain metric, you're not going to be able to talk to, women. Most of the time it's money. All right. Most of the metric is generally, if you don't match my income, I'm not going to fuck with you, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to deal with someone who doesn't match your income. I have no issues with that at all. But just be honest about it. Like, you don't give a fuck about the individual unless he matches your income in some way. Okay. If he's on your level, okay, you might be willing to let it slide if it's, maybe 10 G's off or something like that. You might be able to willingly let it slide, but he still better be, up and growth. And not even if he matches your level, I guarantee you have some expectations. Eventually, he's going to surpass your level. But instead of being honest, they just want to lie and say something else because it makes them look good. It's like, look, this is why men don't trust you, broads. We don't trust you because you lie all the fucking time. All right. Men are honest. We don't care about your income. Like men are honest if we're trying to seriously date you. Okay. If we're trying to fuck you, we'll say anything that makes you feel, makes you say it. We'll say anything. All right. If we want to fuck you, we'll say anything that I hope that gets us into that objective. But if we're actually seriously trying to, get with a girl in a relationship sense, we're fairly honest. We really don't give a shit about your income. Really don't give a shit about anything that you think we care about. All right. What we care about is, are you attractive enough for me? Okay. Are you able to give me kids if I want kids? Will you follow my lead? All right. It's very simple. Men are very simple. Women have 10 things on their list that require for them to take you seriously, or you have to be exceptional in a few of those things for us to be for them to be interested in you. Men, we got 3 things we don't really care. All right. Because our standards aren't that high because we don't need that much from you. It is what it is. But it just irritates the shit out of me. There's women will come on and say, no, I care about personality, and then get caught in their bullshit lie 2 minutes later. Well, it doesn't irritate me. It's just funny as hell to me.
I think, though, that as a mother to a child, it's important to be educated so that you can...
No. I'll actually engage you on this question, though. So, for example, I'm 34, and I'm fairly successful. I will date a girl who works at Chick-fil-A. Don't give a...
Aren't you bothered by her lack of work ethic to continue trying to college? I mean...
No, we don't care, okay? Because odds are, okay, we do well enough, what's going to end up happening? Here's what's going to end up happening, all right? Get all that accolades, all right? You could get college, all that shit, and, be, all right, cool. Second, I get you fucking pregnant, all right? And the second you have to be away from your baby, you're going to be like, fuck this shit, all right? And if you're able to, all right, if you're able to say fuck this shit and leave, you're going to. All right. By that I mean leave your job, not leave the relationship. Okay, it's how it always works. All right. The only women who stay at their job and work at their job is because they have to, not because they want to. They don't want to be working at their job. They have to be working at their job. All right. If they have to, then they're gonna have they'll work at it because they have to. But if they're able to, they're going to say fuck this shit. All right. I remember my wife. She was talking about how I'll just work 1 day a week. It'll be fine. That's my plan. I'll work 1 day a week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and all that. That lasts about 6 months, and then she was like, "Hey, would you be mad if I stopped working?" I was like, I knew this was gonna happen in the first place. I don't give a fuck. Stay home, take care of the kids, be happy. Okay. She tries to say this like, oh, I kind of miss it sometimes. No, what you miss is being away from the kids and talking to adults. You don't actually miss your job. So it's all this like crap. Don't you care? A woman who's had some education and college. Guess what? A lot of educational women are dumb as fuck. All right, they're just fucking dumb. They go. They're good at following the rules and going in and doing well on tests and stuff. Doesn't make you smart. All right, you can be just as dumb.
And that's just proving his point that men don't mind.
No,
whether
he's
you have a
probably
career
happy
or
that she works at
anything.
Chick-fil-A so that she can bring him home
I
like
think
free
that
food
also-
and everything, you know?
I think though that as a mother to a child,
But that's true. We're very happy you can bring us some free food. Okay. But yeah, education's not that important to men. Okay. Why do we need you to be super educated? Because look, a lot of things that you need to really teach your children, it's kind of easy stuff. All right. It's basic human things to teach. All right. You don't need to be educated to do that. All right. Now, if you want to start doing homeschooling and shit like that, you maybe have to have some intelligence, but doesn't necessarily mean you need to be educated. Okay. I'm sure there's programs that help you with guiding homeschool kids and shit like that, all et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, it's like you need to be intelligent, but you don't need to be educated. All right, you need to have some basic understanding of humans, how to be a human, a good, decent person. You got to have that that level of intelligence, but you don't need to be educated by having a bachelor's degree. High school diploma will work just fine. It's very simple. But guess what, guys? That's what women needs you to do. You need to be educated, or at least you need to be at least more intelligent than she is.
Like men, we only go out with a girl if we find her attractive. Women are okay with wasting their time and going out with men that they don't like because they're able to get free meals, experiences, get some conversation, because girls love attention and validation. But with us, it doesn't operate that way.
Damn.
We only go out because we're trying to get laid. So you
There's
see
no
how like
girls
men
that
date
you
with a
hit?
purpose and women typically don't? Like men,
Yeah, because with women, when they do anything, like when they go out with a guy, okay, they always benefit, regardless whether they get laid or not. They always benefit, whether it's a free food, cool experience, shit like they always benefit. Guys, we don't benefit unless we get our dick wet. All right, let's just make it as crass as possible. All right, we don't benefit unless we get that dick wet. All right, that's really how it goes. Okay, because guess what? We could do these, get these delicious food. We could do this cool experience. We could do it by ourselves and just be as happy. All right. So, the desire to take a woman out on a date is just at the hope at some point we're going to get, some sex. It's very simple. So I really don't understand why women don't understand this. Like women always benefit when men, when men take them out. Men don't benefit unless we've charmed her enough to get her in bed. Very simple.
I don't think self-defense would really help you with most men. If you're like UFC champion woman, you can probably actually like beat the guy who's for sure your size. I think
I don't even think that's true. I don't even think even if you're a UFC woman, you could beat the guy who's your size. Nope.
Untrained.
Have you ever had a swift kick in the bollocks?
What is that? The
A
balls?
swift kick in the bollocks, like you've been kicked in the nuts.
Is that what
Yeah,
they
that's what-
teach you in the self-defense classes?
In the UK, I did 2 years of military
Yeah.
training and then 2 years of Krav Maga training.
Yeah.
And the best thing they teach women is the bollocks.
Yeah, I would say.
And
that.
I feel
I mean,
like
if you
you
can
don't
do
have
it,
to be UFC. You just have to get them there, and
Yeah, if you just have to get them there. If you can get them there, guess what? Men can block that. You know, it's how hard it is. This is how hard it is to block that. Okay, that's all you need to do to block that, or hand, or put your hand there, or block it like that. Like it's if you can get him by surprise, yeah. But let's be honest, if a man's attacking, he's on guard. So if he sees a kick going towards his dad's, he's just gonna block it. It's not that hard.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think self-defense would really help you with most men. If
So yeah, all that's crap. Because like I said, men just are gonna block it or just move away from it. I mean, it's a good idea, but you gotta hope you can catch him by surprise. Because otherwise, you're gonna get your leg trapped, and guess what? You're just gonna make it easier to make you fall.
Oftentimes, we see this happen over and over and over again. We'll see these women, especially with high-profile men, say this kind of stuff, right? I just don't like him anymore. Conveniently enough, they also happen to not like him and walk off with millions of dollars of his money. So it makes me think maybe there's an ulterior motive behind it, other than I just don't feel the spark. I mean, sure, he's rich, good, and everything that I ever wanted, but walking away, I can basically now go hook up with whoever I want and have millions of dollars of his money. So oftentimes we see this happen.
Andrew makes a good point. It's always this point where like, hey, I don't like him anymore. I'm unhappy, blah, blah. But then, if you really, truly don't like him anymore, then why would you want to have to deal with him more by having to take his money all the fucking time? Okay, you're going to have to get that reminder every time he sends a check in. Okay, I just don't like him anymore. I'm not happy with him, but I'm happy taking his money. I'm happy with it. If women want us to actually believe that the reason they divorced him was because they were happy and they didn't want to go out and fuck someone else or, fuck it, whoever they want while also getting that money, they would just go and say, I don't want your money. I want a divorce. Nope, you can keep your money. Or even like, give me, pay me for a year. After a year, I don't want any money because then I can establish myself and take care of myself. Like I could get that. I could understand a woman saying, look, I don't like you anymore. If you pay me for a year or give me a lump sum, of $100K, and I can take care of myself up until I can get a job that can, I don't have to rely on you or stuff like that. I'd probably accept that. I'd be like, all right, cool. I get that. Like, I'd be like, all right, maybe you really didn't like me anymore and you were just tired of me. But like, if you're, most of these women who divorce a guy and just take that alimony, take that alimony, take that alimony, take that alimony. And then you expect us to believe, it's just because I didn't like him anymore. I don't believe that at all. Oh, this is great. The tone police. Women are great tone police.
Because if you were actually thinking about your family, the last thing you would do is leave a man who you say is a perfect man, break up his family, break up your children's relationship with a father, and take a bunch of money, unless you didn't actually give a shit about that.
I completely agree with him. I just disagree with the way that he's saying it.
The tone.
God.
But I completely agree with you.
The reason why it's so frustrating to have women inside of men's spaces immediately is because it's always tone policing bullshit.
And
right?
you agree with him.
Who cares about tone
100%.
policing?
Why do you think tone policing?
Who cares about tone?
Because she lit. Did you hear this black chick here? Why do you care about tone policing? Because it's fucking annoying. If I say something, you agree with it. Why the fuck should it matter what I say? All right. If the message is well enough entailed that you understood it so much that you actually agree with my position, then who the fuck cares of what I said, how I said it?
Because it's about the approach on how you
No,
talk to
it's
someone.
not. It's about what's being said.
It's about what information is. Not. This is why women are fucking just pain in the asses. All right. If I say something and you understand it well enough that you can agree with me on it, then shut the fuck up about my tone. I don't care.
Not how you interpret it.
No, that's not true.
Actually,
Because if you were actually thinking about your family, the last
Like everything you said was fact. All right. If you actually cared about everything you said you cared about, you wouldn't divorce them just because you're not unhappy. You're not happy. But that's just rude to say. How dare you say something so rude? I don't like it, so I'm going to tone police. Shut the fuck up. This is why it's so irritating to have women in men's space. This is why men don't like women in men's spaces. Not because they're women and we're sexist or anything. It's just because every time we say something, you got to tone police us. You got to say, well, that's not very nice to say. I don't give a shit. I'm playing a game. I'm trying to be rude. But then here's the thing. If you get a woman that comes into your male space and then she gives as good as she's got, guess what? We all like them. we all like them. If they come in here and they give us as much shit as we give them, we like you. We're like, all right, you're cool. We can hang out. We can talk. We can play game. I remember I was watching this YouTuber, McNasty. It's his YouTube name. I don't fucking know. He wears box on his and shit. And And they had there's this one video where he has of a gamer girl, and him and his buddies, they're just fucking with the chick. All right, they're just making jokes. They weren't being like threats, any like threats or being like rude or anything like that. They're just making obvious jokes. Like at one point, they're talking about one of the guys was like, how much would it cost you to send me gamer girl pee? Like, how much would I have to pay you for gamer girl pee? Some creepy shit. And then she was like, how much to send you gamer girl pee? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I'd have to say like 10K. Like, she was going along with it. She could see it was an obvious joke. Okay. She could, she was having fun. She was giving it back as good as she got. And they all had a blast on that game session. And that's what women you need to do. You need to stop coming in and saying, well, that wasn't nice, or oh, you're so creepy for doing this. We're just trying to fuck with you and have a little fun. And you guys just want to ruin it by being like, that wasn't nice.
Might be hypocritical for a man who, say, is promiscuous to judge a woman for her own promiscuity. It's a little bit different. Like if a guy, say he has a high body count, I don't think it's hypocritical necessarily for him to desire a woman with a low body count. In order for you to desire something in someone, need you possess that trait or characteristic? And I don't think so. In the same way that a woman who's poor might want to date a rich man, she certainly might be attracted to a rich man. So in order for a woman to date a rich man, must she too be rich? I would say no. In order for a woman to want to date a tall man, must she also be tall or be the same height? No, of course not. In order for a woman to want to date a guy who's funny, need she be funny? No. So I think it's perfectly acceptable to desire traits and characteristics in a partner that you yourself do not necessarily possess.
It's a weird issue with women. They don't like guys that are highly promiscuous, have a high body count, to want women that don't have one. It doesn't make any sense to me, because women, like Brian pointed out, women want a lot of things that they themselves don't possess, but the men they desire do. They generally don't have a lot of wealth or a lot of money. They aren't able to defend themselves. Okay, they're generally go after tall men. Obviously guys that are heavier than him. Like they go after men that possess a lot of what they don't have themselves. Okay, they desire those type of men. But the second a man who's banged a couple more chicks than her says, like, I like a virgin or a chick with a very low body count. It's hypocritical. Doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it hypocritical? And if you ever push them on it, they really can't say. They're just like, well, how dare you have a high body count and then want someone that doesn't have a high body count? Well, how dare you want a guy with money when you don't have money? Okay. How dare you want a guy who's taller than you when you're not that tall? How dare you have a guy that'll defend you, but you can't really defend yourself? Like, it's so fucking dumb. All right, let's get it off of this some woman dynamics and do some political shit.
Say ban assault weapons. What is? You told the court you were an expert. Just tell me what you wanted to ban.
Senator, sitting here today, as I said, I did not write that brief. I was local counsel.
Sign the brief.
I understand. At the time,
tell me what you wanted to ban. That's all I want to know.
I don't remember the exact definition of assault weapons in the ordinance that was at issue.
So you submitted a brief and you said abolish assault weapons, and you don't know what you wanted them to abolish? Say,
yeah, if you're going to want a bill and say, hey, ban this stuff, you don't really need a definition. Just tell us what your definition of assault weapons is. Okay. Why do you like unless she said ban these particular guns, you don't really need the actual definition that was assigned to it. You just need to be able to say, hey, I just want to ban these type of weapons. Be good. No, you don't need the definition that was used for the bill. You just need your own damn definition. All right, let's check this out.
In your court, what matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology?
My political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case
oh, that's funny. I don't believe you.
Demonstrates you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
So you took a 6'2" serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights? In your court, what?
So yeah, it's hilarious. Hold on. It's hilarious. She's like, I just no, I believe in it, but then she puts in a guy into a woman's prison because it's obviously her political belief that dudes can be girls. It fit her political agenda, because if she cared about the rights of individuals, Ted Cruz points this out very well. She wouldn't have put that guy into a woman's prison just because he says he's a woman. It's like, all right, cool, you say you're a woman, but guess what? You still have a dick. So guess what? You're going to a men's jail. Okay, this guy clearly just wanted to get out of having to go to real jail, because guess what? In real jail, they probably end up killing his ass because he took advantage and raped children. And a lot of prisoners, all right, a lot of those prisoners don't take kindly to that. So this guy was like, shit, all right, if I do this, I'm going to go to big boy jail and I'll probably end up getting killed. All right, I was going to get murked. But I'm going to say I'm a woman and I'll go to a woman's jail. All right, I'm going to go to a woman's jail. Therefore, I will not get murked. I'm just going to go to a woman's jail by saying I'm a woman. And, this leftist judge will do this. All right. This is Dave Chappelle. This is back in like 2020, I think. And this perfectly illustrates why people like Donald Trump.
The fact that Dave Chappelle said all of this on SNL is insane.
A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it, because I hear it every day. He's very loved. The reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. That first debate, I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, this whole system is rigged. And across the stage was a white woman, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, sitting over there looking at him like, no, it's not. And the moderator said, well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, what would be your evidence? He said, I know the system is rigged because I use it. I said, God damn. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, this man doesn't pay his taxes. He shot right back. That makes me smart. And then he said, if you want me to pay my taxes, then change the tax code. But I know you won't, because your friends and your donors enjoy the same tax breaks that I do. And with that, my friends, the star was born.
The fact that Dave Chappelle said all of this on SNL is insane.
A lot of you don't understand why.
That was a great moment on stage. Makes me smart. Like I really hate this whole, like, this guy doesn't pay his taxes. Like, any of us wouldn't do that if we had a chance. If we had a chance, we absolutely would avoid paying as much taxes as we could. If we could have paid no taxes, we fucking would. And all these people like, I would pay taxes even if I knew a way to do it. No, you wouldn't. If you had the ability to avoid paying taxes, you will. Everyone would. Everyone would. Don't say you. If you say you would, you wouldn't. You're a liar. All right, you're a fucking liar.
What do you use semi-automatic weapons for?
To defend yourself against home invaders, but also, let's be clear, against tyranny.
You said that you could use a semi-automatic weapon to fight tyranny.
Sure.
You mean you'd use it against American troops?
The very existence of the Second Amendment.
I mean, back during the Revolutionary War, we used our firearms to defend ourselves against the British, who were troops. They were the colonies troops because the British were everyone who was part of the colonies were pretty much predominantly British. Okay, so yeah, we'll use it against our own troops if we have to. But the purpose of the Second Amendment is I have this right. Fuck off. That's the purpose. But we always like try to get into this nitty gritty, like, oh, it's to defend yourself. No, there's no purpose for the Second Amendment. There's no need I have to utilize the Second Amendment. I can utilize it because I can. And we end up having these fights and conversations for huntings, for defense, blah, blah, blah. They just end up being able to try and use that against it and say, oh, okay, so then I could ban this because you don't need it for that. Instead, what we should do is say this: I have this right because I have it. Okay. I do not need a purpose to use that right. I don't need a purpose to use free speech. I can just use it. Okay. I don't need a purpose to use the Second Amendment. I can just fucking use it. Okay. All right.
Many of you girls would be proud of or happy if your daughter or little sister engaged in this work,
This is gonna be hilarious.
behavior or attitudes.
If it's her calling, if it's
It's her calling to be a whore.
Yeah, her calling to do
It's
this
to
kind of work, like
Make BJ videos.
well, if she wants to, I
called-
mean,
No.
Doing that? What
If
about-
it made them happy, yeah.
I
Oh, it
definitely
made him
would
happy.
not want my daughter or little sister to do it just because of things that come along with it that I've heard about. But I don't think I'm the moral police, and I feel like my responsibility would be to just be there for them and continue supporting them regardless.
All right.
I'd be neutral.
Neutral.
I think I'd support them regardless.
How many of you girls would be proud of or happy?
So right here, that just proves why women shouldn't be leaders. Like, no, this is why women shouldn't be leaders. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, if, like, even the women would say, like, I don't think they should do it, but I wouldn't judge. Fuck off. Like, all these women would be terrible mothers, and they shouldn't be mothers. Like, if you're not gonna tell your kids that, like, no, it's just because this makes you happy doesn't mean it's a good thing. Okay, guess what? Killing people can make me happy, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. All right, doing OnlyFans just because it makes you happy doesn't mean it's a good thing. But these women they just can't do any of that. That's why they can't be leaders. They can't say, like, just because you do X and it makes you happy doesn't mean it's a good thing, so you shouldn't do it. They just still go with the, well, I mean, it makes you happy, so you should probably do it. Like, it's just ridiculous at this point. It just irritates the ever living shit out of me. All right.
I don't see how that
Oh, another tone police.
is helping the world be better. Women want to turn away from porn or turn away from like what they've been doing, and you are like berating them, you're criticizing them, you're making it like you're embarrassing them and making it hard for other women who are maybe viewing this to turn their own ways. And to me, that's making degeneracy grow. Like, you are enabling this hate women sort of mentality, in my opinion. That's how it comes off to a woman watching the show.
That's just tone policing. You never made a single argument. You're making arguments which are appealing to emotion. You're saying emotionally, when I hear what you say, it emotionally makes me feel bad. Well, that's great, but I need you to understand that I don't give a shit how it makes you feel. What I care about is what is logically true and consistent, and what I care about is the argument.
I don't see.
I just love that. I love Andrew Wilson when he does this shit, where he's just like, look, you say all the things, it makes you feel not good. I just want you to know, I really don't give a shit. I don't care if you don't feel good because I said something that you don't like. All right. I don't care. If you do X, I'm going to criticize you. These women also don't get up in arms when men get criticized for dumb shit they do. They don't care if we don't like what they're saying. It doesn't make us feel good. What you're saying isn't going to turn us around from doing what we're doing. They don't give a shit. They don't care. But suddenly I got to care just because you don't like how I'm saying. Fuck off. All right. I got two more things I'm going to do, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, this is beautiful right here.
She's not younger than me, she's not skinnier than me, and she's not prettier than me. Then why couldn't it just be me?
Because she's softer than you. She's quieter than you. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't call me an idiot or tell me to shut up all the time. She listens to me. She's nice to me. She doesn't make me feel like the only thing stopping her from being happy is me.
See, it's very simple, ladies. All right. It's very simple. Very, very simple. We don't require very much. We just require some peace. Okay, we require you to just be peaceful, bring peace to our lives. So we don't need someone prettier. We don't generally, if we're with you, we don't need someone younger. Okay, we don't need it. Okay, we just need someone who's softer, kind, happy with us. Like I don't get it. Like it's very hard a concept for them to understand. It's like you just want this woman because she's younger, tighter, fitter. No, probably because she makes me, she what she does is softer and does shit that makes you peace. We just require you to bring us peace, and you don't do that. So that's why we're going somewhere else. Now, is that a good reason to cheat? No, it's not a good reason, but that's what men require. Simple as that. All right, I got one last thing. This will be it. Ricada, he's been in the news lately. He's has charges of having cocaine in the house, a lot of cocaine. He's had his kids taken away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He did a local stream last night. And apparently this was a clip of what he has to say about that. So let's check it out.
The amount of bootlicking faggots out there who are like, the government said. All right. And by the way, bootlicking faggots includes a bunch of lawyers who at every other time will tell you, oh, you can't trust the government, you can't trust the narrative. And now they're like, oh man, look what they said. Look what the government said here. And they're like just so happy about it. You can always find someone's true colors when they have the opportunity to stand by what they say. And they don't.
Okay. So there you go. This is what he had to say about all that. Here's the thing, though, that Ricada's missing. It's not just the police reports we're going off of, okay? If it was just police reports, that's it. Nothing else. It was just the police reports. He might have an argument. He may very well have had an argument if it was just that. But that's not what we're going after. We're going after the behaviors. We're going off of the down spiral in your streams. Okay, that's what that's what a lot of people are going out of. We're going after people that aren't actually grifting off this, saying like we've been talking to them for years, but we've been talking about a while, and we're really worried, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going off of those same people who are on yours all the time now being on less and less. You're having less guests on to talk about stuff. We're going on all of that. Okay, see, it's not just the police. If it was just police reports, if all of a sudden Nick was doing fine, there's nothing weird behavior, there's nothing of that matter, and all of a sudden the police raided Ricada, and then I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be far more skeptical. There'd be a lot more people that were far more skeptical. Okay, we'd be like, well, this seems weird. There's no evidence of him ever actually doing any of these things. It's very odd that he's done some of this, what that they're going after him. That'd be very weird, right? But then you take in everything else. You take in the down spiral of his streams, his streams being more erratic, him going off on tangents, not really finishing, all the topics he was talking about, him going, blah, 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 far more than he used to. Less of his friends coming on and actually streaming with him, even though it would be beneficial. You go off of all these things. You go, and then there's that. I'm not even going into some stuff, but I'm going, stuff that's far more obvious. You go into that infamous stream a couple days before where he looked haggard and literally he looked on something. All right, I don't care what anyone says. He looked on something. Okay, he was on something more than alcohol. But you did that infamous stream where it looks like he's jacking off. He claims he wasn't, but we're taking all of that into account, not just the police reports. So again, I think it's a problem with Nick. He's just thinking like everyone's just going out to police reports. We're not. We're going off of everything. Okay, the totality of the circumstances, not just one instant. Again, if this was just about police reports, if all of a sudden randomly, like he got arrested, there was nothing else, like he was doing good on everything else, all his streams were like they used to be. He had tons of guests on, he wasn't doing, being weird, didn't like, when Lady Rackets got arrested in her mugshot, she didn't look like she's fucking borderline anorexic. If we went, if none of that happened and we just got raided all of a sudden randomly, and the police were saying this, I think a lot of people would be suspicious of this. A lot of more people would be suspicious of this. But the problem and the reason majority of people aren't is because we watched all the streams prior, and we're like, this is kind of fitting the pattern. Okay, this is fitting the pattern. So and guess what? We will see. There's requests for the body cam footage. There's Kiwi Farms is trying to. I think they did a GoFundMe to try and they're doing a GoFundMe to raise the money to actually go and do this. Okay, hold on. Okay, whatever. But anyways, I can't remember who, but they're raising money to purchase, and then they will distribute the body cam footage. So we'll see. We'll see. I think everyone's, a lot of the more honest individuals are just going off of what they got and what they've seen, and we'll make judgments here. They may, I've personally had my opinions. If I turn out to be wrong, I'll say, all right, looks like I was wrong. My bad. It's not like I was ever going to be on Ricketa's show anyways. So not a big deal to me. Not a loss. But yeah. So there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll be back Monday. Hopefully regular time, everything should be back to normal. I'll figure out what I want to talk about. Yeah. So I hope you all have a good day. Make sure you check and like the video. And yeah, peace out. And I will see you Monday. Peace out.